Ibrahim. The most worthy of people to be associated with Ibrahim, لَلَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُ, are the ones who actually follow him. وَهَذَا النَّبِيُّ, and this prophet, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and those who believe. And they are the ones who are the believers. They are the ones who are the believers. Or Allah is the wali of the believers. Allah is the ally of the believers. So in this ayah, it's very, very clear that Ibrahim was not a Jew nor a Christian. And it's impossible for him to be a Jew or a Christian, because these are altered religions which developed and occurred 1500 years after him, 2000 years after him, because Ibrahim alayhi salam was roughly around the year, the era or the period of around 1900 BC. And from him came Ismail and Ishaq, and from Ishaq came Yaqub, who is called Israel, the slave of Allah. And from him came the Bani Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. And they went to Misr, and they remained there for many generations. And then Fir'aun appeared as a tyrant, and he enslaved the Bani Israel. Allah sent Musa alayhi salam to take Bani Israel out from captivity. While they were in captivity, they picked up many, many evil habits of idol worship and various other traits. And those traits very sadly remained with them. And when they were taken out and they were delivered and taken to the place, they began to manifest many of these evil qualities. And we see these are mentioned in the Quran: worshipping the calf, abusing Musa alayhi salam, being ungrateful, many, many things, disbelieving in the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so these traits remained among them till the time of Dawood alayhi salam. They were cursed upon his tongue, as mentioned in the Quran, and likewise upon the tongue of Isa alayhi salam. And then the kingdoms that they had after Dawood and Sulaiman, a few centuries after, they were disbanded, they were conquered, they were invaded as punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the Persians and then various other nations. So their state was disbanded until they were taken in captivity to Babylon around the year 570 BC. So they're taken out from Jerusalem and they resided there. Then they returned back to Jerusalem, and then after the sending of Isa alayhi salam, because of their disbelief, Jerusalem was eventually sacked and they were sent forth from that place. And they've been living like that ever since. So this deen called Yahoodiyyah was unknown in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Sulaiman, Dawood and Sulaiman alayhim salam. This was something that developed afterwards, around 570, 550 BC. And this is when they began to contend with the Torah and develop what eventually became the Talmud. Talmud meaning just the opinions, the opinions of their rabbis, by which they tried to subvert and undermine the actual commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Torah, to make halal what is haram, to make haram what is halal, and to find all these devices and different workarounds, right? And so the opinions, this eventually became known as the Talmud. And this Talmud, or the idea or the opinions, when Isa alayhi salam was sent, he was sent to purify the Torah from these innovations and from the altering of the law. And after Isa alayhi salam, they continued upon this, and then eventually they finally managed to put into writing and compile all of these opinions that undermine the actual Torah, and it became known as the Babylonian Talmud. And it was finally committed in writing, some say 500, 600, in the Christian era, and others from the Jews say it was 800, meaning that after Islam, in the second century of Islam, the actual Talmud, as we have it today in its written form, that's when it was actually put and compiled into actual written form. So this deen here is not the deen of Ibrahim alayhi salam, nor Musa alayhi salam, nor Dawood or Suleiman. It is an innovated religion, and it is a religion based upon ethnicity, nationalism, and doctoring of the text, and making all of these claims that somehow that they are chosen and have been granted a piece of land. All of these are distortions and fabrications upon which their religion is built upon. They do not have the Torah of Musa alayhi salam. That was lost a long time ago by their own admission. Right? They had to reconstruct what they think to be the Torah. And the Muslim scholars like Ibn Hazm, rahimahullah, have done a tremendous job in refuting and exposing the lies of those who call themselves Yahud. So that is an altered religion. And also, the Yahud are just one small tribe amongst whom there are a mixture of different nations as well. Right? There are Idumeans, there are Edomites, there are different. It's not like some pure, genetics or race as they claim. These are all lies and fabrications. They are just one small part of the Bani Israel. There's other tribes as well, and they are just one small part of those whom you call Semites, because Semites being many different nations. So therefore, this claim that you have some exclusive right to the term Semite, it is false and it is rejected. And in any case, when you were sent in the diaspora, this group of people traveled into different places through Rome, through Spain, and eventually found themselves in different places up there in Poland and the Ukraine, intermarrying with different people, until any alleged Semite connection or blood, I mean the word Semite even, that's problematic, because originally it referred to a language, not to ethnicity, not to a race. This division was made on the basis of language. It has nothing to do with, but let's just say for argument's sake, that it refers to the offspring of Sham, the son of Nuh. In any case, there's no trace from your appearance of any Semite appearance. You are Polish, you are German, you are Ukrainian, right? You are Lithuanian, you are Latvian, you are Russian. You can see clearly in your appearance that this is what the case is. And as for the actual Semites, then you can go to the Jewish Encyclopedia, you can go to the actual writings of the Jews themselves, and you will see very clearly and explicitly they say that the purest group of Semites present today are the Arabs. Because the Arabs didn't really, especially the ones who are in the peninsula, the Arabian Peninsula, because they didn't really migrate out, and they retained all of their characteristics in terms of the language, in terms of the, all the other cultural and whatever elements. They are the purest race of Semites present today. And that's haqq, it's written in their books. So there's many things going on here. When we understand that the deen of the Yahud is built upon ethno-nationalism, it's like a nationalistic identity. All right, that itself is false. Because you have, as we said, you have a Russian Jew, a Ukrainian Jew, you have a Sephardic Jew, you have a Mizrahi Jew, you have a North African Jew, you have a Chinese Kaifeng Jew, and you put them all side by side next to each other. You have an Ethiopian Jew, This one is very dark. This one over here from America somewhere in Texas, he's blonde haired, blue eyed. This one is a Chinese. This one is, European, red hair, whatever. This is just a mockery. I mean, who are you trying to fool that somehow this is based upon race? Right? This is just pure mockery and making fools of people. This is not a race. This is an ideology. It's a religion and an ideology, an ethno-nationalistic ideology, which was written in the Talmud, has nothing to do with the religion of Musa alayhi salam, has nothing to do with Israel himself, Yaqub alayhi salam, has nothing to do with Ibrahim alayhi salam or Ishaq, has no connection whatsoever. The only people who have that connection to Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub and Ishaq and Ismail are the people of Islam, as Allah says in the Quran. Inna awla an-nas bi Ibrahim. Indeed, the most worthy of people of association with Ibrahim are the ones who followed him. And what is his religion? His religion is Tawheed, Hanifiyya, Islam. As for the deen of the Yahood, that is, it is engrossed in shirk of the worst type. You read what they say in the Talmud of exaggeration and lies which they fabricated, that somehow the whole universe was created just for the benefit of the Yahud. Everything in the universe, Allah created it in order to serve and benefit the Yahud. And that the Yahud, each individual Yahudi, is an actual piece of the God that they claim to believe in. And that he is worthy of being worshipped. And the Christians, even though they worshipped one Jew as they claim, which is Isa alayhi salam, and he was not a Yahudi, they should rather be worshipping every Jew. Because if you're going to worship one Jew according to them, then why don't you worship every Jew? And when their Messiah comes at the end times, then everybody will want to worship a Jew. These are their lies and their fabrications which they invented and wrote in their books. What has this got to do with Ibrahim alayhi salam? What has this got to do with Yaqub alayhi salam? Absolutely nothing. So these lies, we reject them, we have to reject them, and we make it clear that this is not an Abrahamic faith or a heavenly religion. This is a fabrication. And it is very, very sad, as we said, that amongst the Muslim nation, this call should appear of the Abrahamic faiths. Anyone who believes that these are legitimate ways to Allah, this is takdeeb of the Quran. It's takdeeb of the Quran, because Allah said it very explicitly here, that there's only one way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is the deen of Islam. That's the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And these others, they are altered, fabricated, abrogated religions. You cannot reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of these altered religions.